Charwell Year 11s, I'm going to talk to you briefly about revision for your exams, whether that be mock exams or whether that be your actual exams, and give you a few sort of tips and ideas about how to approach that most successfully. Now, first thing I probably want to say is that there are no shortcuts to success really in terms of your revision, in terms of the work that you've got to put in. You just need to accept and understand and have the maturity, I suppose, to accept that you've got to work hard to be successful, really in anything that you do. Now, alongside that though, it's not just about hard work. It's not just work until you drop. Much more importantly, it's about working smart. It's about being clever and in the ways that you approach this learning and you approach this revision. Some of the things that we're looking for, that we'd advise you to do really in terms of how you work smart would be things like, number one, get yourself organised. Now yes, to some extent that's about having your pens and pencils and your post-it notes and colours and whatever it is that you need for your revision, but also it's about understanding your subjects and understanding what it is you've got to show that you're good at in each of your subject areas. English is a classic example for this. You're going to do a piece of writing, you know you're going to do some writing, but what skills do you have to show to get the marks? So what I'm suggesting is know what you're being assessed on, know what you've got to show that you're good at, know what your weaknesses are within that, and improve in those areas. Now if you're not clear, your teachers are your absolutely best resource. You've got some fantastic teachers who'll support you through this all the way, but use them. Make sure you're asking them about what it is that you personally have got to do to succeed. Another key point that we need to get across to you is that you need to know when to stop. They reckon that 45 minutes at a time is about the optimum for revision. If you're going on for hours and hours and hours, you're likely to get frustrated and sort of it's going to stop going in so much. And do keep things in perspective. Do go off and do other things. Keep your social life going to some extent. Make sure that you're not really stressing yourself out. And make sure when you're learning, you're doing it in pretty smallish chunks, but you're making progress. That's the best way to make yourself feel it's useful. Not panicking, not being too stressed about it, but learning in chunks, being organised in the way that you're learning and making progress. Now, to help you with that, it's worth reflecting on the ways that you learn and using different strategies. It's not just about doing the hours, it's thinking smartly about how you're learning. Now, I showed in assembly this pyramid of learning which helps us think about different ways to learn. Reading, sometimes we get students who just want to sit there and read the stuff, read their notes, read through their book and expect that on its own is going to get them to learn it and feel confident. Well, probably it isn't. You need to make learning more active, revision more active. So perhaps learning and making notes, learning and turning it into reading and making it into a mind map, reading it and turning it into post-it notes and things like that might be a more helpful way to do it. Talk to your teachers about the best ways to revise for your subject and talk to your tutors. The other thing I'd say to you is make it a social activity, make revision a social activity, because we learn really well through talking to each other. Discussion is a really helpful way to talk, way to learn. You're all learning similar stuff, so talk to each other about it. This is interesting, the last part of the pyramid, teaching others is absolutely the best way to learn, or so that's what the results of this study suggest. Well, you can use that, can't you? If you organise yourselves with your friends, with your peer group, where one of you can go off and learn a particular thing that you're struggling with, come back, teach it to the others, that might be a really helpful way to learn. So, yeah, think about the ways that you learn, and if it's not working, if you don't feel you're making progress, change the way you learn. Try something different, and if you don't know what that is, come and see your teachers and we'll help you with practical ideas about things that you might do to learn. Now the final thing I would say to you is to have a look at the Charwell YouTube site, which has just been launched. youtube.com/charwellonline. We need a better name than that. If anyone's got any ideas, do let me know. And there's resources on here, for example, a film of somebody from another school actually explaining to you about the maths module. You've got somebody from another school talking to you about the English exam. Now these videos can be really, really helpful ways to learn, because unlike standing in front of a teacher or sitting with a teacher talking at you, With these films, you can stop things when you in your time. If you want to rewind and do a whatever you call it these days, if you want to move it back and watch a bit again, you can do that. You can pause it when you need to. You can make notes. Again, make sure you're being active with it. Don't just assume you can watch it and it'll go in, because it won't. But if you make notes on it, if you do the activities and you practice, then that'll be a really helpful way to learn. We've found students in the past have really enjoyed this sort of learning and benefited from it. So obviously you can put it on your phone or whatever, and it's quite a flexible way to learn. Okay, if you've got any problems with your exam revision, come and see us. So speak to your tutor, speak to your teacher, speak to me, speak to Mr. Price, speak to anyone, and we'll help you with that. Okay, I would say good luck, but really it's not about luck. It's about how well and how skillfully you prepare. If it's not about luck, it's about discipline. It's about making sure that you get it done, making time for it, and recognising that you're in charge of this. If you work hard and you work smart, you're going to be really successful. We think you're a really good year group. We think you've made a fantastic start to year 11, and we've got very, very high hopes for you, but make sure it gets done.